Globalization Analysis. Uber in China. Motivation. Uber's disruptive technology, explosive growth, and constant involvement in controversy makes it one of the most fascinating companies to emerge in recent years. Uber in China is a perfect example of how an already established and globalized company can still face failure in a new country due to a different set of challenges. We established that globalization doesn't mean an obvious success, even for established companies. We'll discuss the reasons, both cultural and political, behind the failure of Uber in China and our feedback on how Uber or any new upcoming businesses could do better while expanding into the region. Background. The global ride-sharing application Uber was founded in 2009. At one point, it became the highest valued private startup company in the world. In December 2015, Uber sought its single largest round of venture capital, $2.1 billion, and was set to expand in developing markets. And no market was larger or growing more quickly than China. Between 2015 and 16, China's 800 million consumer base for the urban transportation market was the site of Uber's fiercest battles. Despite the CEO's sustained efforts in 2015, Uber failed to gain the kind of dominant market share in China that it enjoyed in other markets around the world. Cultural challenges. Uber also failed to properly acknowledge the subtle and nuanced cultural differences between the US and foreign countries, thereby failing to win in the court of public opinion. The US has a particularly strong emphasis on individualist principles. People are encouraged to take chances to assert their individuality and pursue their individual self-interests. But in Asia and in European countries like France and Spain, group harmony and societal order are stressed over individual achievement. There is a greater concern for others, a greater emphasis placed on personal relationships, and a greater sense of kinship and solidarity built into each country's social compact. It is therefore not surprising that local consumers in China are skeptical of Uber's aggressive entry tactics, lack of consideration for local authorities, and an inability to foster genuine and trusting local relationships. Political challenges. By the time Uber entered the Chinese market in 2014, Didi and Kuaidi, the two market leaders, scaled much more rapidly than Uber because they had previously established a relationship with the government and collaborated with the incumbent taxi industry. There were numerous difficulties in navigation of regulations and policies. Questions over the status of drivers as employees or independent contractors, and Uber also faced raids over claims of illegal use of personal vehicles as taxis. In July 2016, the government legalized taxi industry and imposed new regulations. It required that drivers' personal information should be disclosed to authorities. There would be no subsidies, and every driver would need to have a minimum of 3 years of experience. Uber would need official permission to expand to each new city. Eventually, Uber China was bought by Didi, with the C-suite of both companies gaining seats on the board. While Uber somewhat successfully navigated opportunities to flourish in Chinese local markets based on its knowledge of the Chinese political and governmental trends, it ironically failed to anticipate the same government's next moves in predictable scenarios. Our recommendations. In China, the most important thing for Uber to focus on was establishing itself in promoting a great community complementary to great car services. Even though the speed of expansion is very important, making sure that the company offers top-notch localization and optimum prices is even more important because it's key to building a strong foundation. Uber's localization is not only to be completed in terms of language and support, but still has room to improve on the operational details in alignment with Chinese culture. Additionally, formation of partnerships with Alibaba or Tencent or both to integrate services with their ecosystem could prove beneficial. Partnerships with local taxi service industry, and most importantly, appointment of a local C-suite executive with market and policy expertise to helm Uber China would prove very important in Uber's success in China. These guidelines can also be followed by upcoming new businesses who want to globalize their industry, their business, and move to China. Thank you. Globalization analysis. Uber in China. Motivation. Uber's